guys, welcome back to my channel. It's G from Happiness and Crafting. So today I just wanted to dye a few little bits and pieces because I want to make some seam binding flowers. So I've got some seam binding, which I'm using the Hug Snug seam binding, which I love. I get this from zipperstop.com and that's on Etsy. But for me, I really sort of like look after this because it's so expensive, because I have to get it from America, and it's really expensive to import. The postage and the import tax is really expensive. So I'm going to use some of my seam binding for dyeing. I have got some, this is macrame string, and I believe it's cotton. It comes in this big little, well, this little roll here. So I thought I'd give that a go. I have got some cotton sheet here, and I have got some cheesecloth. This is a very opened weave one, and I've got this one here which I like, and I've got two more other ones, so I'm going to use those. I'm going to colour those with something else, but these ones I am going to be using some tea bags. Now these are red fruit, and they've also got hibiscus in them, so it's an explosion of red fruit on there, which is great. I've got two different ones. This is the tea that I drink, and I absolutely love it, and every time I drink it I always think I should be colouring some seam binding or fabric. So today is the day. Now these ones are exactly the same. So these are a Lipton and these are a Tetley, but they are all lovely. I have a little bit in here which I have been infusing. I do believe I've got little bits of tea leaf in there, so I think I've just burst one of the tea bags. I've got a mixture of the two different ones. So I'm hoping, I would like a pretty pink to come out, but I don't know what's going to come out. But that's what I'm going to use for that. I haven't done too much water in there. I think there's like 300 mils or something. And then I'm also going to use some of my acrylic ink, and this one's the muted grey, but this is very purpley. And then I'm going to use this one, which is the muted pink as well. This is muted grey, and the other one's muted pink, and I do have the muted violet as well. So we shall see what they come out like. So I have got, I'm going to just put these to the side. I've got another jug which I think I might just tip these into. I've got a strainer here, so I'm just going to quickly just strain that in and see if I can get rid of a few of those tea leaves in there, like that. It's a little bit of the string, so let's just squeeze those out like that, and I'm going to pop those over there. I'm going to pop that on my floor so I don't knock it off everywhere. So let me just dry my hands. I don't think I got too many tea leaves in there. So shall I just do a little tester? Do you think I should do a test? This was warm. This is quite warm in there, so it might have to stay in there for a little. Oh, look at that. Can you just see that lovely colour? It's just changed. Right, I'm going to just pop it all in. I'm going to pop it all in. I didn't bring anything to dop it down with, but I'm going to, what shall I use? I need a little pokey thing, don't I? End of my paintbrush. So let's just stick that in there. I'm going to pop it all in together and see what we come up with. And see how well they colour. Oh my gosh, look at that. You can see the colour of that already. Let's just pop that in, and then this lovely bits can dry off. Soak in there for a little while. I might need to have to make some more, but I'm going to stick it all in anyway, like that. And then I'm going to leave that for a bit and just see what happens. But the colour that's looking is beautiful, isn't it? Where's the seam binding? The seam binding looks a little pinker than everything else. But let's just stick that in. Not sure whether this might be coated with something, because that's not really changing colour, is it? I'll leave it for a bit, but it might have a coating on. So maybe I should have sort of boiled that a little bit first, but I'm going to just leave that, poke that down there and see what happens. So that can go to the side. These two, I'm actually going to pop my little plastic gloves on so I don't get ink everywhere. And I will use, now you can colour fabric with anything, but you've got to be sort of like careful when you're using onion skins and things like that, because you have to add salts and things like that to them. So I generally, I can't get these on. I generally use just inks and things like that, or tea. Oh, these are a bit tight. Pull those on. Okay, I'm used to using my black ones, not these ones. Right, I'm going to wet it. Let's get to our little spray bottle. I'm going to spray this. Now again, like I said, you can use all sorts of things to colour your seam binding, and it all depends what you're using it for, because you need something obviously colour fast if you are going to be washing them. But these are just going to be going on journals and stuff, so they don't generally get washed. So that's why I'm just using inks and things like that. So let's just put that on. I'm going to use the muted grey, and I only need a tiny bit because I don't want them to be too strong. Now I'm just going to give it a good mix up. Can you see how purple it is? Let's just wiggle it around. Now you can sort of like dilute some of this in some water and put it in there, but I quite like the way some bits are darker and some bits are lighter. Oh, I'm going to end up tangling this up, but I don't want it to end up too dark. So this is very pretty. Can you see that's just got sort of a light purpley colour. Now what I am going to do, I'm going to pop some water on the mat. This is just my cutting mat with a little bit of plastic over the top. Just going to dip that in, mix that up. I want it a little bit, just a tiny bit darker, don't we? Like that. Oh, that's so pretty. So pretty. Now look at that, that's lovely. Now I want them to be quite pale. I'm going to take this, take some of that water off, and that's maybe a little bit darker, but I don't want to dilute it too much. So oops, a little blob on there, just a little bit. Drop that in there, and then just give it a little wiggle round. I think that might be better because it will probably dry just a little bit lighter anyway. So it's always best to add a little bit, and then you can always sort of like add a little bit more, because if you go too dark it's a little bit difficult to take it out. Can you see that sort of like a very paley purple colour, which is exactly what I was looking for. So fabulous. I'm going to pop that to the side. Let's just wipe this off, and my hands. Oh, I don't like these gloves, they're horrible. Do the lid up. Look, ooh, looks like I've got webbed fingers. Right, let's do this one. So I'm just wanting pinky colours. Just some pinky colours, because I was looking for some pink seam binding in my little pot, and I just don't have any, because I haven't made any for ages and ages. So lots of you probably know how to do this, but again, if you're a newbie, this is a good one, because seam binding is very expensive, and I always buy the white. I wouldn't buy any other colours, because you know you can colour it yourself then, can't you? Shall we go for the muted pink? Now I'm going to just add I think this is probably the best way. A little bit. Just make a little puddle in there. And add that in. Uncle it up. People do this in all different ways. You can pop it into like a little plastic bag and drop some colour in there with a little bit of water. Then you don't need gloves and you won't get covered in ink. Look at that. How pretty is that? That's beautiful, isn't it? Now that might be the similar colour to the hibiscus actually. So we shall see. But I want them to be pretty. Now I'm going to leave it like that because that's lovely. Can you see that? It's just a really nice pale pink. Beautiful. Right guys, that's pretty good. Nice quick video today. So you can see the two different colours. Just yummy. They're going to make lovely flowers. Right, so we have a little peek in here. Right, where's the seam binding? Oh, look at that. Oh, I've got a few tea leaves on there, I think. Let's just squeeze that out, pop that to the side. And looks, that's beautiful. Look at that. Now again, so that's 3 different colours in there, but that is stunning. Oh, I love it. Absolutely love it. So let's pop that to the side. So that's your tea bag, that's your seam binding. This is a little bit of the open weaved cheesecloth. What a beautiful colour. I always sit there and drink my tea and think I should be saving all my tea bags and colouring fabric. So now I have. Look how beautiful these are. Love them. Oh, and they smell amazing. This is the cotton. Let's just squeeze this out. So this is the finer cheesecloth, and this is the cotton. Look how beautiful that is. That's a real lovely, lovely pink. Now these have come out, this one's come out paler, so they are 2 different sort of like fabrics, but they are lovely. Have I got any more fabric in here? Another little bit of cheesecloth in there. A little bit. I will wring these out a little bit better. I will dry them off and then I will show you what they look like. So I will come back when they are all dry. Now this is the cotton. This is the macrame stuff. I don't know what. Oh, that is very, very pretty. That is really quite pretty. Let me just dry my hands. Make sure I don't get anything on here. And I'm just going to show you. That's what it was like, and that has coloured. So that's coloured really, really beautifully. Oh my gosh, guys, I love it. How quick was that? That wasn't in there for very long at all. So I'm just going to squeeze a little bit more of that out. Pop that on. It's a beautiful pink. It really is a beautiful pink. Look at that. Oh, I love it. I hope you can see it's very bright in here today. Coming through the window. Oh, I do. So look at all these lovely different shades of pink. Right, I'm going to go and dry these off. So these 2 are the inks. And the rest is the fruit tea. And how beautiful. Right, I'm going to go and dry these off and then I will be back. Okay, guys, so I am back. Now, they have come out absolutely fabulous. Now, I'm just going to show you the 2 that I did with ink first. Now, these are very, very pale, but you can just about see. This was the muted grey, and this was the pink, the muted pink one, or muted purple. I can't remember which one I used now. I think it was the muted pink, but I'm not sure whether you can just about tell the difference between them. I like them, but I'm not sure whether I would like them just a tiny bit darker, because I want to make them into flowers, I want them to be sort of delicate, and I'm not sure whether sort of gathering them up they might sort of like have a little bit more of that colour, but I think I might just colour those a little bit more. Now this seam binding came out fab, this came out lovely, so I did a little bit more, and I tell you what, it's so soft. It's come out really, really soft and lovely. I ironed it dry. Well, I didn't. I stuck it out in the garden for a little bit to get the wind blowing through it, and then I just ironed it, the rest of it dry, because when I do my flowers, it's so much easier to do them when the ribbon is flat like this, and then I sort of like scrunch them up to make them look all a bit shabby. But I love it, absolutely love it. So I did another little batch here because I've still got this in there, which I think I might pop something else in there in a minute. This is the macrame string. Now that's come out a little bit patchy, so I'm going to pop this back in there again, but it did pick up the colour lovely, but you can see it's a little bit patchy, so if you wanted it patchy, that's fine, but you can see how it has taken the colour just beautifully. So loving it. So I'm going to just put that back in there, I think. Let's just get my paintbrush. I will pop that in there and let that soak for a little bit longer. See if we can get any more colour out of this tea. So even if I leave it in there overnight, I think it will be lovely. So it should pop that down there. And then we've got the little bit of cheesecloth. Now this has come out really lovely pink. I really wasn't quite sure how pink it would come out, but it is gorgeous. Now that's just a little bit of cotton. This I dried over my little radiator, so you can see it's got little sort of patches just where it was bent over. A little bit of creasing caused that lovely dark sort of marbling effect, which is nice. And also on this one as well. This has got little dark marbling sort of bits on it, but it's just beautiful. I love it, and it smells really yummy. This is a little bit of cheesecloth. You know how much I love my cheesecloth, and this is another bit. So I've got different varieties of cheesecloth. I buy cheesecloth wherever I can find it, mainly off Amazon, but they never seem to do the same one, so I sort of like tend to buy different ones, and it always gives you a different sort of like outlook, which is quite nice. But loving it, love, love, love. So I'm so pleased with that. Now I've got the thread in there, not the thread, the macrame string in there, and I thought I might put in this, which is a doily. Now this has got a few little stains all over it. I've washed it and stuff and it won't come off. I think there's got a little bit of rust or something on there, so I'm going to pop that in and see if it will give me a nice little hint of pink. So, oh, look at that, how it's taken. Because it's cotton, can you see how it's just soaked up that colour already? Wow, love it. So they're going to sit in there for a little while and see. So I will show you, because I might sort of like use these little bits and pieces for our shabby Saturday. We shall see. I'm not quite sure what we're doing yet for that, but I'm going to leave those in there overnight just to soak up that lovely colour. So there we go. So what I'm going to do, I won't do that now, but I'm just going to add a little bit darker to these two, because they are just tiny. I wanted them pale, but maybe not that pale. So that was with this tea. So it's just Tetley red fruit tea with hibiscus. Now I use for the other bit, so if you don't have tea or anything like that, just go to your stash and see what you've got, see what colours you've got. I use the Liquid-X ink, acrylic ink. You can use acrylic paint, that will work. I've used Distress Oxides before. Now the Distress Oxide sprays or inks, they will give it not such, you lose this shine. It makes them matte. So if you wanted that in a project, that's what you would get, because it's distress, so it oxidizes it, so it makes it sort of like, it makes it a bit chalky to it. You lose that lovely sheen. And I've also got the Lindy's Starburst Squirts, and this one is Candid Bacon Blush, and they've got like a little shimmer to them. I've used those before and they come out lovely. So any sort of paint, inky things like that will work. Just experiment on your fabrics and things like that, but I'm loving them. So there we go, guys. I got a nice little bunch of little bits and pieces to make some embellishments with now. So I hope you enjoyed that. I know I've done it a few times before, but I've never done it with this lovely tea. So there we go, guys. Have a fab rest of the day. Take care, stay safe, and I will see you soon. All right, guys. Bye-bye.